Hello, 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 and welcome to episode 13 of the Cooler Guild. I'm your host, Coop, and joined with me, as always, is my co-host, Van.
Hello.
We are recording on Tuesday, August 27th, 2024. On today's episode, we'll be discussing the Rain's triumph over North Carolina, Megan Rapinoe's jersey retirement, Jalen Howell acquisition, and a few other things. But first, some housekeeping. We want to remind people that the Cooler Guild is part of the Sounder Heart Podcast Network. You can either listen to us on our public feed or, if you're a Sounder Heart subscriber, on the private unified feed with the other podcasts on the network.
If you'd like to become a subscriber, just visit our page at sounderheart.com/the Cooler Guild. New subscribers get 10% off the normal rate, and you'll help support everything we're doing here.
Speaking of Sounder at Heart, we went to the anniversary party event.
Yeah, it's the 1-year anniversary of Sounder Heart going completely subscriber based and independent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was at Fast Fashion down in Soto. We got to finally meet a bunch of people that we collab with, chat with, absolutely admire. So it's really cool.
We have not met many of those people IRL, I feel like. So, and I don't ever get the chance to come out and meet people just because I'm so far out. So it's nice that I got to meet so many people in one night. I didn't get to chat with everybody as much as I was hoping, for some people at least. But it sounded like Jeremiah was kind of hoping to maybe do more of these smaller events.
Yeah, and it was really fun, and it was super cool. It was a really good meeting of people and just a really great community that they've kind of
for sure
been able to cultivate.
Yeah, it was great. I wish I could have stayed longer and gone out and done some more partying, but it was also on a Thursday.
Yeah.
Can we plan that next time for a Friday or something? Because
it was not great for us that do not live within public transportation of Seattle.
Yeah, nah. Well,
back in the good old days.
Yeah, we would maybe take the car to go. Take a car to go to the lift or the light rail.
Yeah. No, yeah. It was fun though. I mean, you and I saw each other on Thursday for that event, and then Sunday for the rain game.
Yeah, we went to the rain game. I was having some car troubles, and we were also just being really responsible human beings, care about the environment. So we carpooled.
Wow.
Yeah. Went out to the game. We had gotten some tickets there was an event before the match, under the North End area, and it was hosted by Brandi Carlisle's wife, Catherine Carlisle, and they kind of spoke about the foundation and partnership that they have with the Rave Green Foundation now and Rain in general.
I think it's just called the Rave Foundation.
Is it just Rave? The Rave Foundation.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's kind of sweet. Shout out to Steph from Rain, who hooked us up with those tickets and got us on the list for that. So kind of got to see some familiar faces in there, including one Brandi Carlisle was there. We did not speak to her, but she was there. And then also we ran into Adrian Hanauer while we were there. He is now a familiar person with the Cooler Guild.
Yeah. Coop's like, oh my God, is that Adrian Hanauer? And I was like, yeah, that is Adrian Hanauer. So should we give him a sticker?
What millionaire doesn't want multimillionaire doesn't want a sticker?
This one did. I do have to say, I have the audacity of that kind of person that just goes and talks to people. And so we went up and talked to him, gave him a sticker, let him know who we were. And I have to say he was fantastic.
Yeah, he was great, super nice. He's open to kind of we'll see if we can follow up with him or whoever we need to follow up with. But he gave us some people that he wants us to connect with and hopefully get more awareness about the podcast, because I feel like it's all just about growing the fan base and getting people out to games and getting excited about this team.
Yeah, so that was really cool. But then we got to be there for this match, which
was incredible. I mean, it was already
second half was incredible. But
yeah,
let's go over let's just recap it.
Okay,
let's recap it and then we can talk about it.
Okay, we'll do the quick recap. On a beautiful Sunday night in Seattle, the weather was perfect, couldn't have been any better. The Rain took on North Carolina Courage before the kickoff. The club honored one of the greatest legends in all of women's soccer
ever,
maybe ever. if you're from this country, definitely the maybe the best ever. Megan Rapinoe, the Megan Rapinoe. So they did like a little jersey retirement celebration. We'll get into more details about that later. Once the match kicked off, though, the rain took a little while to get going. The first half was rough.
Yeah.
The first half was not very fun to watch, and I was like, man, this game's on ESPN. This might be a little rough for some people watching. But they did settle in. I thought there's some nervy moments for sure. But they did figure out the courage, limiting them to just 4 shots, which is pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Rain themselves were able to create some dangerous chances. It was looking like the Rain were going to once again end the game with nothing but regret about the missed chances in the match.
Yeah, and I was looking at the standings, like if we had finished 0-0, we would have been in second place just because of goal differential with Utah. But nobody wanted to end the game that way. I mean, there was so many people there and it was just rad and they had the momentum.
Yeah, the crowd was into it. Crowd was super into it. Adames played the hero that we all needed, and she just got this perfect cross in to find her head, and then she just headed the ball to the post, and it dinked off the post in the most perfect way. That Casey Murphy just fumbled it real bad, and it went in for an own goal. I'm gonna call it Adames' goal though, because of the celebration that we got from that.
It felt like it didn't matter how it went in.
No.
And that, an 18-year-old kid who played great in the Summer Cup created that chant.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely.
That's her goal.
That's her goal. I'll give it to her. I know the stats are going to say different, but I'll give her that.
It was great. Which meant Rain got all 3 points. Much needed. First win since May 3rd. Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
I mean, so starting off, the lineup, we only had one of our new signings from the summer window.
Summer window, yeah.
Which was Sinigorcevic.
AMC, baby.
AMC. And the first half, though it was a bit boring, I mentioned to Megan during the first half, I was like, see how boring this is? This is so boring. We need something to be exciting.
Wait a second. We're not acknowledging that this is our first true dub pod. Which means we need to bring out our drinks, our dub pod drinks, our first dub, at least for the first one. But we have so few wins that we definitely need to be getting some celebrations in. And Van, if we'll post a screenshot of this, has the Let's Go Pale Ale, great one. And then I've got maybe we can showcase both of them right here. And then I've got this Guild collab beer that Van brought to me. So cheers to a Rain dub. I don't think the microphones ever pick up that sound.
I don't think so, but clink, cheers.
Clink, cheers. Okay, so AMC.
The first half itself was like very underwhelming.
But when she stepped on the field, first of all, when she stepped on the field, I just texted you, or you texted me AMC starting, and I texted you because we were in different seats in the stadium.
Mm-hmm.
I texted you, and I was just like, she's big.
Yeah.
She looks strong. I felt like I was sending Dennis text to you. Looks strong.
Pretty much. Dennis is my dad. But yeah, she in the first half, like I said, it was underwhelming, but I feel like she was kind of a bright spot.
For sure.
I mean, I definitely was paying a little bit more attention to her than other players just because she's new.
Yeah.
But it was kind of easy to, because every time the ball was played to her, she gave herself that space to win the ball.
Yeah.
And was strong and was just, I think she's a great addition, and I'm so excited to see her play with some of the players that we were able to bring on later. Yeah, so the first half was kind of meh. One other things I will say about the first half was it was a bit weird to me that we were playing in a formation because it was basically like a 4-4-2, but we were bringing our outside backs up so much, mostly Shea Holmes, right? Trying to get her so far up the field that Quinn was having to drop back in the center back position. And that just eliminated any sort of like midfield overload that we could have had. Which
I saw someone suggest. I haven't been able to find a full replay yet, or maybe I need to go find it a little bit harder. Maybe try harder to find it. But I saw someone point out that maybe Quinn was dropping back so much. And I know Jordan Bug had a great game, but it was a little bit maybe to cover Bug.
I don't think that would have been it.
No.
No, and from what I rewatched the second half because I
You have
recorded it
recorded
on
it, yeah.
YouTube TV. I watched probably the last 20 minutes of the first half and then the second half, and it wasn't really to cover Bug. It was just making up for the lack of back line because they were basically shoving Holmes up. But the problem with that is that the other center midfielders are not recovering. And so it's just leaving a big gap. And that's why our possession in the first half was so mediocre, because we were really just putting the ball on the outside and having no play with the inside players. So, and that's not, Quinn's playing out of position there. So, I can say they had, an okay game, but that's not really giving them any credit because they were forced to play somewhere they don't really play.
Yeah, although Harvey seems to be trying to force them into that position in the back, which I'm not sold on because I just think that there is an element. I know we could talk about maybe Quinn doesn't have the speed, but there's an element to Quinn's game that I think we don't utilize enough, and that's like long balls.
Yeah, it's that,
and it's better, and as much as you can get that from your center backs, Quinn's much better in a 6 doing that kind of stuff.
Right, and it's breaking the lines with that through ball.
Mm-hmm.
And we haven't really had the speed to showcase that.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I think that like if we can find that with Mondesir,
yep,
and Quinn, I think that that would be a really lethal combination. So I look forward to seeing that. But the first half, it was kind of a wash.
Yeah, for sure. It was a bit of a snooze fest.
Yeah, I mean, there were some nervy moments, and especially one nervy moment. I think it was like the 32nd minute when there was a ball played through and Dickey didn't forcefully come out and call for the ball, and McLaren was looking for her to. And they started yelling at each other.
Yeah.
And we saw that a couple times within the game. Otherwise, if you delete these shoddy decisions, Dickey had a great game.
She did.
But these are the things that concern me about that, is when your back line doesn't have the confidence in you to come get that ball, and they have to make up for it.
Which we've seen that frustration before when Cook was still playing well with Dickey back there. So it's definitely something to watch, but I think I went and looked at all the stats for goalkeepers in the league, and Dickey's doing really well. Even with these mistakes, I think she's a young keeper. She's learning and growing from the looks of it to me. So as long as these aren't becoming costly mistakes, I think I can give her some grace.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think you're right. And I think that leadership can be something that you're born with, but it can also be something that you learn.
Totally.
But she needs to fucking learn it, and she needs to learn it quick, because this is going to make me angry, because you just can't sit there and not communicate with your back line.
Which, to be fair, it's kind of been shifting and rotating and the consistent. I
mean, McLaren's been playing.
Yeah, but Bug is young and new. And
it wasn't Bug that she was talking with. It wasn't Bug that went around.
Bug had a great game.
It was a player that was older than her.
Yeah.
It was a player that had more experience than her.
Yeah, I don't disagree with the fact that, it doesn't maybe look like she's got full control. Maybe.
And I'm hard on goalkeepers.
Because you were one.
Yeah.
You know what you're looking at a little bit more specifically than someone like me, for sure.
Right, and it's more than the numbers. It's pretty much, my thing. It's like stats tell part of the story, which is fine. But that was pretty much the first half. Some nervy moments, but nothing too bad. I mean, there was the G back heel.
Oh, if that would have gone in, oh man, I would have lost my mind. She's cheeky, man. I mean, that's like the kind of stuff that I've been hoping to see more from her, and she just hasn't been able to get in those spaces as much as I'd like to see.
But she was able to get up there, which was really cool. I mean, that was like right on top of the 6 pretty much when the ball came in from the right side, and she was kind of standing near post on top of the 6, and she kind of let the ball go through her legs and then did a little whoop behind the back, and it hit the post. Yeah,
and she was she was really taking on defenders along the line over there too, trying to get through, which was great. We need somebody that can do that.
In the first half, we saw some good moments, but it felt a lot like what we've been seeing for the last part of the season, which was
several months,
which is just missed opportunities. I mean, you got Fishlock coming in hard, shooting the ball straight at the goalkeeper. You had a missed opportunity from G. So it just kind of seemed like, we're slogging it again.
Yeah.
But then we had a halftime break.
But I will say, added to that, we are seeing a lot of changes with this team. So I don't know that everything is going to look great right now. I mean, we're trying to make moves finally to change.
Well, I didn't think it would look great the first half because we only had one new player.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I
And
wasn't expecting a lot
and then
more.
and then the second half comes and the Arsenal comes in. The new Arsenal of players comes in and oh my God,
A
everything
little
changed.
late.
No, it wasn't as soon as I wanted it to, but it did change everything. The whole vibe completely shifted. When
Yeah.
Jalen Howell got in, everything changed.
Yeah, I think we need to talk about Latsko coming in though. So Latsko was the first sub
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the 66th minute for King, who King I disagree with a lot of people about her because though I do think she's a good player, I don't think she fits within the system and I don't think she's a starter, especially up there with Haidama because they're very similar players in the fact that they're both not the fastest. They're both, I would say that King's probably more creative than Haidama, but
Yes.
in the same vein, there's just not a lot of movement up top when the two of them are in. It's very stagnant. So
Mm-hmm.
you switch King out for Latsko,
Mm-hmm.
and you start seeing Latsko do what she does and just
Mm-hmm.
absolutely destroy the back line, making those runs through,
Yeah.
pulling defenders away. And that changes everything. That changes everything. I mean, within that, I don't know if it was before or after that, but there was that good through ball in from G to it must have been before that because it was King, but G to Fishlock,
Mm-hmm.
and then Fishlock had like pretty much a great
Yeah.
shot and
Yeah.
then laid it off to King and King just hit it straight at the goalkeeper. And it's like, we can't keep doing that.
To be fair, Fishlock probably should have taken an extra touch.
Fishlock should have just shot the fucking ball.
She either should have shot the ball right away, or she should have taken an extra touch and then tried to draw Casey Murphy over a little bit more, and then she could have passed it over to King. Because Murphy like basically didn't even have to move watching that replay, like to make that save. I mean, King could have shot it better for sure.
Yeah, but I think that like that just kind of solidified the choice to take King out. And so Latsko comes in and Latsko just starts making moves. And we
Yeah.
start looking better
Mm-hmm.
when Latsko comes in. And then we get a couple debuts
Mm-hmm.
in the 75th minute.
Yeah, I was getting fired up. I was seeing them like starting to warm up and then, go over to the sideline and start to get ready. And I was just like, oh, it's going to happen.
Yeah, so we had Montezir coming in the 75th minute for AMC,
Mm-hmm.
who Anna Maria Sinigorchevich, we're calling her AMC now. And then Jalen Howell came in for Just Fishlock.
Yeah.
And Jalen Howell was one that I was like really looking forward to because what a whirlwind she's been on over the last 9 days or something. Or 6 days, something like that.
You're the captain of your team, first of all, which is like, that's not something you expect, I would say. I mean, we don't know what the conversations were around there, but it sounded like Louisville, and we'll talk about this later, but it sounded like Louisville had interest in Balser at one point. And so this, window's open where we're trying to get rid of or trying to make our team better, right? So we have people we can maybe afford to trade. And then Jalen Howell's suddenly on the table. And if you're Rain, you can't say no to that.
No, and she comes in. So her and Montezir come in, and there was just a new energy.
I mean, Howell's like hyping up the crowd.
Yeah, so like 2 minutes after she comes in, she gets the ball kind of top of the box and takes a shot, and it goes wide, not super
far.
wide,
not far,
not super wide. But she turns around and just like hits the badge and just absolutely just starts pumping people up, which they don't show on the broadcast apparently. But I saw it and I was like, oh shit, she's been here for 6 days and this is how she's feeling. I'm here for this.
Yeah.
Like I am scared for other teams.
That's the energy we've been missing.
Yeah, we missed that attitude.
Yeah.
Right?
We missed
that attitude.
Pinoe brought that. And Fishlock has it, but
Fishlock doesn't show it.
She doesn't, not lately, not with us, maybe with Wales, not as much as we'd like. But yeah, I think Howell, with her age and the way that we went and got her, I mean, this could be somebody who sticks with us, hopefully, for a very, very long time. Yeah. When you see that kind of energy and passion for the game, it's like you can't find that everywhere.
I'm absolutely here for it.
Yeah.
I will. She might become my new person that I talk about on the podcast all the time. But there are some cool stats that came after. So in Susie Rance's article for Sounder at Heart and Ride of Valkyries, which you should go read because it's a great article. She does like little like stats for the game and like really fun stuff. And 8 of the Rain's 17 shots, so she says 47%, came after the 75th minute when Jalen Howell and Norelia Montesir subbed into the match.
Yeah, Jalen Howell's a monster. I said it at the live recording we did, but she's a monster.
I knew it would be good.
Yeah.
We got to get through this so I can talk about her. But Adames and Athens come in and we create chances. Montesir is going through taking players on in the final third and
Embarrassing
beating
them.
them.
Embarrassing them.
And that's not something we've seen.
No, we've had none of that dynamic play at all on the
None of it. And none of that
either
speed.
side. None of that.
None of
None
that
of that.
speed.
Nope.
So yeah, Adames comes in for Haidama in the 89th minute, and I'm like, great, we give her a minute. Ugh. And then
Doesn't
Athens comes
matter.
in
It's all
for
she
G.
needs. It's all she needs.
It's all she needs. So they get 8 minutes of extra time, and 90 plus 7 balls on the left hand side. Latsko puts a ball in. Adames.
Beautiful, beautiful cross from Latsko
Oh, absolutely fantastic.
on a platter.
On a platter. And Adames puts it back where it came from, which is what you should do because the goalkeeper is moving the
other way.
opposite way to cover the cross, and she puts it back. And it looked to me, and watching the replay, that Casey Murphy thought it might have been going out.
Yeah.
And so she kind of just let it
She was
go.
she was still trying to get there, but in the
She
worst
had it
way.
covered. It was like the weirdest thing. She had it covered, but her momentum was going backwards. So the ball hits off the post and then hits off her and goes in.
Yeah.
But Adames, rightly fucking so, owned it. Owned it. Absolutely owned it. And ran to the southeast side of the stadium and does the Megan Rapinoe arms open celebration at 18 years old. This woman knows her moment.
Which I'm sure if you listen to our podcast, you've seen the photo, but the photo of Adames when she's like a child with Megan Rapinoe, those are the kinds of stories that you just like. I don't know how you can't even imagine those in your wildest dreams. Just that picture and they seeing Adames where she's at, but then seeing her score, which she did score. She scored the game winner in Megan Rapinoe's retirement, like jersey retirement match. Like that is like the coolest fucking.
And to do her celebration
in front of her, that is like the coolest thing anyone could ever do. And then like after the match, she had like a quote, and it's like the coolest fucking thing. They were asking what was the question?
So in the press conference after the game, Adames and Fishlock were the players interviewed, and they asked her on the game-winning goal if she had been able to come down from the excitement. And she says, "Not really. My friend in the locker room, I was like, I think I'm going to throw up. Like, I'm so excited. I have so much adrenaline right now. And then when everyone was running up to me after the game, I thought I was going to wake up and be in my bed. I actually thought I was dreaming." It's endearing. It's so endearing.
I mean, that's an incredible quote. And she's 18.
Yeah.
That's like, I get like goosebumps thinking about that moment for her. Because just like between that and seeing the picture, it's just like, holy shit, what a day for her.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah. It's like we've been waiting for when this happened in the most dramatic fashion we could have ever imagined.
On a dramatic day.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you're celebrating the greatest player your club's ever seen.
Greatest player club's ever seen, potentially the greatest player this country's ever seen for the national team.
Greatest advocate for women's sports and humanity in general.
Yeah.
Yeah. And to be 18 years old and recognize your moment and do that after you scored, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
It absolutely blows my mind. So like hats off to you, Adames. Like shit, I'm twice your age. And I don't think that I would have been able to do that.
Did you see the banner that was like in front of the stands there too afterwards? Like while that was happening, it said like the banner in front of Adames on the stand said "Changer of Games." So Adames comes in, changes the game, and then the banner that says "Changer of Games" had like Rapinoe's picture on it with the pose.
I gotta take my glasses off because I'm crying.
You're so emotional about it. I was starting to tear up a little bit.
No, it's incredible.
Yeah, no, I was tearing up about it a little bit. It's just like so fucking cool. It's like this is why we follow sports.
Yeah, I mean, for all the months of heartache and frustration, like we get a moment. That's what we live for, you know?
Yeah, because we were at the Thunder Heart, anniversary party, and we were just going around moping around a little bit. I mean, it was hard not to.
And I think that too, I will give us credit for that. So when we were at the Thunder Heart anniversary party, Jeremiah had us do like a little bit of a live podcast stint in front of the audience.
Yeah, a little segment.
And we did talk about like, it's a new leaf for the team.
Sure.
And we're getting some new signings. We're talked about being excited for the players that we're bringing in, and just to like kind of like hold some space for like to have some positivity and to be excited about the team.
Yeah, I would say that I think that comes from knowing that like I don't think this organization is content at all. Like
No.
they're as disappointed as we are about the results.
Well, I think that too, like we've shown that in not really questioning Laura Harvey at this point.
Yeah, which I know a lot of people maybe don't feel that same way, but
Which is fine. I think like in other circumstances and other histories, you might question the coach, but when your coach has led you to so much success,
mhm,
and then you went away for a while,
mhm,
and then created something really like not good, and then you
mhm,
bring her back,
mhm,
like there's some grace there, but also I think that that these players that we've been following for the longest time,
mhm,
this coach that we've been following for the longest time are not
mhm.
content.
No. There was an article with the Seattle Times interviewing Rapinoe, and they asked her like is she surprised about where the Reign are in the standings now? And she pointed out like not really because of where the club's kind of been like the last 2 years, 3 years, or even since like the Leon group took ownership, because we kind of just been in, she said, in a place where ownership maybe didn't want to go out and spend money. And then not only that, but then when they did want to sell the club, it took so freaking long to happen. And
Yeah.
so the players mentally have kind of just been holding on. And I think that this is maybe kind of what we're seeing, the effects of that when we aren't getting these good results. And now that the sale is through and things can start to finally maybe change on things like getting players, acquisitions, extensions, whatever, trades, we're starting to see that finally happen in a meaningful way, I would say. And I think that will maybe kind of turn things, but it's not going to be an overnight thing.
No, but I think that we are right to bring some optimism into this match.
Yeah.
I know we were a little hesitant about signing an older player in Sinigorcevic, right?
Yep.
Because you're like, she's 33, she played for Barcelona, she's probably like ending her career, she played for the Thorns for a minute, whatever. But I think that you kind of see the Laura Harvey effect in these players.
Mm-hmm.
You've got Howell immediately within 2 minutes of entering the game owning the fact that like she's proud to play for the club.
Oh, yeah.
You've got Monastir coming in and being confident enough to take on players.
Yep.
I mean, that's a testament to the entire coaching staff.
Yep. And you got an 18-year-old going out there and trying crazy stuff.
That, and then you've also got Jordan Bug with her first league start.
Oh, yeah. She was, and so, Jordan Bug. Oh, so good.
So I think that, yeah, I really like the summer signings that we made. We might have not made like one big flashy signing, but I think that they were really solid signings, and I will give credit for that.
Yep.
Because all in all, I think that you might not have had like an all-time winning solution in one player, but you kind of like, not great at math, so I don't know how to like form it into a solution, but like it's not like one huge signing that's going to come in and score all your goals.
No.
It's players that are filling gaps. It's players that are elevating positions where you haven't been successful recently.
Yeah.
And I think that all in all, it might help the solution in general.
Yeah. We should probably take a quick break, and then we'll get into positive, negatives, and anything else we want to cover from the match.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
The Cooler Guild is brought to you by the Doctor's Office, a great little 12-seat bar on Capitol Hill. The owner is a big fan of the Reign and is proud to be our first sponsor.
The Doctor's Office is the best place to grab a drink before or after a Reign match. Go celebrate Rapinoe's jersey retirement over a long story short. A cocktail with gin, passion fruit, and 2 ways, done in a way that drinks like a martini on vacation. Sounds so good.
Check out their Instagram at TDO Seattle, or better yet, go drink there in person.
Cheers! Cheers! Clink! We're back.
We're back. We did it. Reign won a match.
Positive number one.
Positive number one. So I put it into Google and I was like, how many days between this day and that day? It's been 115 days since the Reign won a league match.
That's bad. But it's good. Now we're past it, so.
Whew, thank God.
Thank God.
3 months and 23 days.
Yeah, what was it? May the 3rd?
Yeah. And we were talking about it before the game. We're like, oh God, why has it got to be North Carolina when we do this game?
Oh, yeah. I was
because
like, this is not promising at all. We're so bad against them.
Yeah, so the all-time record now, after we won this one game, we're at 4 wins, 11 losses, and 3 draws.
It's so bad.
So yeah, it was a thing.
Yeah. Which I guess to me that's just like, thank God we didn't give up a goal.
Yeah, I mean, and there were some nervy moments.
Oh yeah, for sure. But I was like, I felt like if we got in the negative and had to like come back, I wasn't super confident we'd be able to do that against North Carolina, knowing what our
Well, I would have
history
hoped that we
is.
would have subbed sooner if that had happened.
Oh yeah.
But I do think that McLaren and Bug absolutely positives for me. In the second half when they didn't have Quinn dropping back in
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of held that four back.
Yeah.
Bug
Bug
she
is
takes
incredible.
on players. She's like that. That is an 18-year-old. Like we got 2 18-year-olds that I'll absolutely stand as soccer players. Like get it. I can only imagine how it is to be that good at that age.
Bug kind of reminds me of Tina Davidson a little bit. Just like calm presence.
I see that. Also with the bun though, she looks like Alana Cook.
Yeah, a little bit. It was hilarious. My like seatmates around me, I was making comments and stuff, and I was only with like Alex, my wife, and so I didn't know anybody else like right next to me. I just like kept saying, "How does it feel to get sauced by an 18-year-old?" And then like the person around me turned around. I keep laughing every time you say she's getting sauced or she's saucing people, and I was like, they're like, I'm gonna start using that, and I was like, okay, do whatever you need to do. But she was humiliating players on North Carolina, and I was just like, an 18-year-old doing that to you is just like so sweet for us.
Yeah, I think that like we've talked about this in the last couple episodes since she's been playing the Summer Cup, that she's the real deal.
Yeah.
She really is. I mean, that's a player that I can't think of anyone else that I would rather have back there right now, which is kind of terrifying since she's 18.
And she's gonna be gone soon for the Club World Cup, or not the Club World Cup. I'm an idiot. I'm a Sounders fan. The 20 World Cup.
Yeah, the real one.
Yeah, she's like, you watch her and then it's immediate starter.
Yeah,
which is
absolutely.
Like we lost Cook, and I was like, she wasn't playing well, so it might be shaky back there for a while. Maybe not.
No, and you can see it when you watch it and just see how she moves and adjusts herself to the play.
So
and
smart.
And it's terrifying to think that a player like that's only going to get better.
Yeah. I'm very excited for her future,
and she's locked in for a minute. So
yeah, didn't they like take that option too that she had?
Yeah, so it was like there was an option that if she played or she appeared in one game, that it extended the contract to like 2026 or 27 or something.
We'll be good back there for a while.
Yeah, I think Jordan Buck's good. I think McLaren absolutely killed it this game. Her speed's notable. It doesn't look like she's fast, but there was one time in the second half where somebody put a through ball and it felt like the player was offside. It didn't matter because she absolutely tracked back and caught up with the player and was able to shield the ball out. And I was like, okay, Phoebe.
Yeah, that was something I wanted to bring up, and I already brought it up in the summary, but in Susie's article, one of her notable stats was that we held Carolina to 4 shots, which is North Carolina's like season low of shots. So that's like that. I mean, that's a testament to both of those players back there.
Yeah, no, they did such a good job.
No complaints at all for that. And I think it's easy to be a little critical about the bad moments that they had, but at the end of the day, all that matters is that you get the clean sheet, and they did.
Yeah.
So
I think we've talked about like most of the positives.
Well, I wanted to say a real positive is we're not last place still.
We're not even last place.
We're not even second to last place. We're third last place. Because I think going into the match, we were still last place if we didn't pick up any points.
Right. Yeah.
But now we've jumped and we're above. Houston can join below our ranks, and they'll start falling below us as we keep racking up these 3 points. But yeah, we have to remember we're not last.
I think we can kind of slide past the negatives. I mean, we've talked about a lot of them.
Yeah.
Really what I wrote is like pretty much the first half when Quinn was having to slide in the center back, and then like we were missing numbers in the middle. Yeah,
because there was a point where Quinn was shifted a little bit higher up near the end, and that was working for me.
Near the end of what?
Near the end of the second half.
Well, yeah, that was working for everyone. We scored.
I know, but I'm just like, why are we not? I mean, I don't know. I guess our center back situation and defense, we're still trying to figure out the right pieces with,
Well,
I
I
don't
think
know.
it had to go with Laura Harvey's press conference after the game talking
Hmm.
about playing Shea Holmes
Yeah,
further up on the
yeah,
side. And I think that she thought that that's what had to happen to get Shea Holmes further up the field, was that you had to slide somebody back in to make
yeah,
up for the fact that like you didn't want to go into a three back,
yeah.
which I think that there's like a lack of confidence there, because I think we could play a three back with McLaren's speed.
I think as long as Bug is there,
That's what I'm saying. But with McLaren,
But Bug isn't gonna be here soon for a little bit.
right? But I'm talking
So,
about within the last game
sure,
is what
sure,
I'm talking
sure,
about.
sure, sure, sure.
So, but I mean, you're playing new players. It is what it is. But yeah, that for me, I saw that and like nothing was coming from it, and then I like was analyzing like, okay, what's going through the midfield, and there wasn't a lot. And you're like, oh, because there's no numbers in there, because Quinn's fucking sliding out and everything's going to the side, and then we're just getting crosses that are going nowhere.
Yeah. What I mean, maybe that was part of the game plan, though, right? Because
Well, I mean, it was
it,
obviously a part of the game plan,
yeah,
but it
I think
wasn't
it's just
working.
yeah, but I think the idea was always like we're gonna be a little more conservative because we're playing North Carolina.
Right. But I'm saying it doesn't help anyone on the field.
It didn't look good.
Right. And so Harvey recognized it in the second
Mhm.
half and changed it. We also shot the ball at the goalkeeper like 3 times in like point blank situations.
This is what I'm saying. We gotta stop. We gotta do something different.
Oh.
I mean, I do see it all the time in like soccer everywhere. So this isn't like like I
No,
watch
but
it.
it's not frustrating, you know?
Yeah, well, it's. I mean, yeah, no, it's super frustrating, especially when like I don't know, just slow things down maybe a little bit. Be patient with it, right? Because
And that's all they do
they're a little too patient sometimes.
all the time. And then they
Yeah,
force the ball into the final third. It's like you make 3 passes, you go short, short, and then your long ball's like, ooh, terrible.
yeah.
So,
I guess
but
I'm not happy with a lot of things.
we could be so good.
Well, if they
No,
stop doing this,
I mean, it's hard to be upset because you won the game.
but we're in a bad. We're like the only way we're gonna get out of this hole is if we're doing things. We can't just look okay. We need to look good. If we want to get out of this hole.
Yeah, I think moving forward, I'm really glad that like our new players got time.
Yep.
And made a point to showcase themselves. And I think Laura Harvey's going to have some really hard decisions to make when it comes to the next starting lineup, because I think that AMC should start.
Yep.
I think Montesir should start. And
Yep.
Montesir came in for AMC.
Yep.
I think that Howell should definitely start. And Howell came in for Jess Fishlock.
I want to see Adames start, obviously.
Well,
But
Adames is going to be at the next game.
I know. Okay, but I still want to see her start because she didn't start again, and I'm sure they were like conserving her because she's got the World Cup.
We already thought she was gone.
Yeah, we did. We both already thought she was gone. We didn't realize we had one game with her because I was like, oh, Adames isn't starting, so I guess she's gone. That was my like, I was just like, didn't click to me like because we were all busy. We didn't get to like look at the lineups like I normally do and see like the subs or anything. So you're just kind of flying with the vibes of the game, and so I just thought Adames was just gone already, and turns out no, and turns out again we're gonna do a super late sub for probably one of your most promising players for the future.
Yeah.
Who like really turns it up whenever she gets a moment. So at least she got her moment. So
She made her moment.
she did make her moment.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to talk about Dickie again. We can cross that bridge when it comes to her decision making, but for now, I'll leave it be.
I mean, I will listen. I'm not trying to be like the Claudia Dickey defender.
Okay.
I did go pull up some stats just to like make
stats are not
I
like,
know, I
a
know.
big thing in goalkeeping.
I know, but if let's bring up the stat I have, okay? Right? Let's just do it for entertainment purposes.
Is this the one you already talked about?
Well, but let's just talk about who's number one worst in goals conceded. Who didn't even have that many. This is like per 90, right? But the number one worst goalkeeper that's played this year is Laurel Ivory
In the league.
in the league per 90.
Per 90 in goals against.
Which she had a good chunk of games. And then we've got Claudia Dickey 13th out of 15, and the 15, the two below her, they're tied. And your favorite goalkeeper is one of those right below her.
Who's my favorite goalkeeper?
On Katrin.
Oh yeah.
So she's like her stats are like almost right there with Ann Katrin for goals conceded per 90. Like they're almost identical. What do you think? Yeah, I'm just saying. I think she has the potential to keep this job.
Oh, for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have any other prospects, so like, of course.
Which Laurel will be a free agent after this year.
I think that my critiques on Dickie are because I know she can be better.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily that I don't think she's good or promising. It's I want her to be better because I think she has the ability to grow. And your stats as a goalkeeper, you're only as good as the people in front of you. As long as you're not like missing catches or doing anything like that.
Yeah.
You're really only as good as the people in front of you. She does one thing that's really, really great about Claudia Dickey is she gets the ball out of the air like nobody else. She will come out and doesn't punch the ball away, just catches the ball out of the air.
It's a basketball player in her.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So, yeah, I mean, I critique it, but that's because, like, you don't need to do those things. You can learn to fix that.
Yeah.
Okay. And she absolutely
just,
should.
We can move on from her. I just wanted to, I don't know. I just think she's an interesting thing to talk about. That's all.
No, and I think that, like, the things that she struggles with, like decision making of when to come out and not, are things that are fixable.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think Lloyd Yaxley, the goalkeeper coach for the Reign, I mean, obviously identifies those things too. She's only going to get better, and that's a huge positive for the Reign. I critique her in the match sense.
Sure.
Makes not sense. As a whole player. We need to have a cooler player in the match.
Cooler player in the match. We had discussed this, and Van was like, "Are we sure that's who should be?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Well, I texted you in like the 85th minute or something, and I was like, "Megan Rapinoe's our cooler player of the match, right?"
Yeah, obviously, and that still stands even with Adames scoring, because Adames' goal celebration and the picture of her as a child. This moment may have never happened without Megan Rapinoe.
Exactly.
So it's Megan Rapinoe. Welcome to. Also, this is maybe our one moment to get Rapinoe into our Cooler Player Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
but it is well deserved. I think in this instance, I think it is very much deserved and makes sense. So
yeah, I mean, she, whether it's like the butterfly effect or whatever, absolutely created this moment
for sure.
And I don't think it's butterfly effect, because those are very real impacts that she had on the club.
Yeah,
and obviously a huge impact to an 18-year-old.
I mean, like, impact on the club, yes. Also just impact on like anyone who's a like soccer fan in this country who watches the U.S. national team.
Yeah.
So
I could do an entire episode about Megan Rapinoe and what she means.
We could do that. Why not? We could bring on some Megan Rapinoe. Where are you at? You want to come on? If anyone's got a contact, let us know.
You used to be my neighbor in Seward Park. Do you want to come talk?
We've bro hugged before, you and me. We can set up a little event if you want. We can do it. No problem. We got a really cool bar we're partnered with. You can meet us there.
Yeah.
So anyways, congratulations. We're going to talk about her in a second again. Congratulations to Megan Rapinoe. You are now officially in the Cooler Guild's Cooler Player of the Match Hall of Fame.
Welcome. We're honored to have you.
We are. So I said we're going to talk more about Rapinoe, and it's because this match was a huge celebration for probably the greatest player we'll have ever seen play in Seattle, for the Reign. And she had her number retired, her jersey number retired with the Reign. There is not a number in the rafters, which I did a little bit of research. And by research, I meant I went into the Slack for Sounder at Heart and Roblox and just asked if anyone had heard about it. Because I know that the Sounders don't have every banner up in the rafters, that they have of some stuff. And then the Reign don't have any of their accomplishments and trophies up in the rafters either. It apparently cost anywhere from $60K, like $60,000 to like low six figures to put up.
Yeah.
A lot of money. But hopefully they figure out something for her. I think they've got like an LED screen that they're going to put her up on.
Well, that's what they did for the game. But so the official attendance number was 16,598, which was the second highest standalone regular season attendance in club history.
And people were in the seats for this too.
Yeah, they did. So the celebration apparently was supposed to happen. The game started at 7. Celebration was supposed to start at like 7 or 6:38.
6:30, yeah.
And it started a little late, which was probably good because there's so many people and they don't open all the entrances for Lumen for the Reign games. So it took a minute for people to get in, but they had a full like display. Like they had a whole kind of not necessarily, I wouldn't call it a tifo,
It was, what
but
did they call
it
it?
was like a crowd display.
They called it a stunt.
Oh, okay, yeah. But there were these like placards at your
Hmm.
seat, and so you held them up, and so it spelt out like Rise, the
Yep.
thing they've been doing for Pinoe, and it was just really cool.
You can see when there's events for Rapinoe, the whole city kind of does start to gather for the events just because she is, what's the word? I mean, there's not one word you can use to describe Megan Rapinoe, but she's a legend, right? I think that's first and foremost is she's a legend, both for the reign and just for, I don't know, being a human in
Yeah.
general. So it's really cool to see. I think it's just like we're so lucky that we got her here and we got to give her the, I would say, the recognition and stage that someone like her deserves for something like this. Because not everybody's playing in stadiums like Lumen. Because I feel like because of Lumen's size and everything like that, it really did just make it feel that much bigger. Because they started it off, first of all, they started it off with these like what was it? This like this female skydiving team. What was it?
Yeah, there's like an all-female skydiving team, and they did one event before.
So they
I
like,
remember they came into one rain game, but they were flying in and they landed in the stadium. And then the last person to fly in has this like the Rise flag, the Megan Rapinoe flag under them, and is like bowling
they
around,
were,
landing on the
which
field.
there's like these wires, going across for cameras and like
That's what I was saying.
I
I was
was
like, oh
so
my God.
worried about them hitting the wires, but they nailed it. They knew, I mean, they clearly rehearsed this obviously, but like, man, they nailed that. That was so freaking cool. And to know that they were like women too is just like adds to that. Like Rapino was not gonna do that unless it's, people who reflect her, are doing something like that.
Well, and I don't think the club, I think that the all credit to the club and everything, like they know exactly what she represents. They know exactly what she stands for. They know exactly what she's going to say, whether it
Yep.
be controversial or not,
Yeah.
when she gets up there to have her talk. But the event needed to be a representation of her. And I think they did a really good job of that.
Yeah. They
Um,
which we didn't get to see it on ESPN, but apparently the F bomb did get dropped live.
I saw that. Yeah.
I had seen people, and this is an opinion I've always held. I'm a little like on the fence about jersey numbers being retired in general. But for me,
This is
Rapinoe,
iconic.
Rapinoe is the exception that like this is what the level it should be for you to have your jersey retired. And as much as I love Lou Barnes and Jess Fishlock and everything that they've done for the club,
Mm.
I think maybe this should be the only player we ever have their number retired for. And then beyond that, we can have some sort of ring of honor like we have for other teams in the city. And then we can put the Lou Barnes and the Jess Fishlocks in that. But there's no arguing that there will never be somebody like Megan Rapinoe.
Right.
Um,
And there shouldn't have to be. I think
no.
that's the other argument that can be made. Like she stood up for things that weren't popular,
Mm-hmm.
but she believed in.
Mm-hmm.
And it like she was such a great player that it didn't matter.
It's so like we can always talk about like
We could go on for we can go
we
on
could
with
go we
this for
could
like
yeah we could go on for this forever, so we should cut it off. But like it's so easy to talk about all these things she's done off the field that like sometimes we don't give her enough credit for how fucking good she was as a player.
right.
Because like you go
I
look
mean,
at her,
I feel like I do, and I understand that because
I,
she wouldn't have the power and the sway
yeah,
that she does if she wasn't such a good player.
for sure, for sure.
Um, I agree with you that for now, if we're gonna retire numbers, Megan Rapinoe is the only one I would consider.
Yep.
And her number is just so iconic.
Yeah. You can. I mean, you can't. People are saying like fish luck number retire. You can't retire a 10 in soccer. You can't.
No.
You can't retire a 10. I don't think you can even retire Barnes's number because like first I would say this retirement thing specifically bothers me in soccer because it's not a thing historically for the game.
No, I mean it's very American.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't need to be doing that for everything. But Megan Rapinoe, I'll give it for that.
Yeah, no, I think this is the exception. It's not the rule.
Yeah.
And she set a different precedent than the rest of our lifers do,
Mm-hmm.
just because of her entire impact.
Yeah.
So
We can
no,
honor them. We can honor them in other ways.
for sure.
Yeah.
Give them a stake. Have them into ownership.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
I'm
know?
still waiting for that for Pino.
But yeah, Pino's speech. I was really hoping that she would announce that she's like buying a stake in the club, but that didn't happen. But what she said was like pretty fucking great. It was like very on brand for her.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she said, talking about her experience, you know, in her time at the Reign and in her retirement, know that every time I look at that number, I'm going to see you. I'm going to see every pride flag and every trans flag and every Black Lives Matter flag and every equal pay flag and every fuck Portland flag.
It's perfect. It's iconic. It's perfect. It's totally Pinoe.
I couldn't stand someone more.
Yeah. Ugh, she's the best. It's like I'm starting to feel like emotional right now.
Yeah.
I also just love that she says fuck Portland when she went to fucking Portland.
She went to UP. Yeah. But yeah, I think that the celebration was very much sufficient.
It was well done.
And it was well done. And I'm so happy that people showed up.
Yeah.
People showed up. People showed out. There was a lot of energy in the crowd. I was sitting in front of a team of like 8-year-olds.
That's your favorite.
Who did not stop screaming.
That's your dream.
Absolute dream. Megan and I were just sitting there listening to their gossip. It was funny. God. My mom brought wine.
Their gossips about their mom getting wasted.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I don't know much more we need to add on to that. Like I said,
we can talk about it another time. If you guys want to hear, if anybody listening wants to hear us talk about the impact that Megan Rapinoe has had on us as people, on the community, and want to have us on, have us have people on to talk about it, we will happily do that. But we can't cover that in 20 minutes of talking about her. So
yeah. So thank you, Pinoe. You're the best.
I love you. We'll always love you.
Moving on. The other event that happened that we kind of
briefly touched on.
We finally got a pretty cool famous person tied to our club, and that is none other than Brandi Carlile.
Who you love.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I love her, but my wife loves her, and also a big part of like our relationship started with this very hilarious story, which I will tell another time, about Brandi Carlile. Since she's, local to Washington, I did have a run-in with her a few times at a certain hardware store I used to work at. But yeah, her wife and their foundation had like a little get together before match, and it sounds like they've kind of got some cool things planned, which if you know anything about the Ray Foundation, they kind of help fund like soccer fields and try to get like the youth involved more with, I don't know, just getting into the sport and everything. I went and looked it up and kind of, because we were a little late. We didn't get to hear the full speech because I wanted some tacos. Priorities sometimes. But yeah, they were really good. But we did kind of catch the end of it. I went to look it up just to clarify things. They're planning their commitments with the Reign and stuff. They are trying to affirm their goals and commitments are affirming LGBTQIA plus rights, furthering play equality and access to the sport of soccer, and asserting and supporting the power of women and gender diverse people. It's such a contrast to like maybe what we had heard about a certain owner at a different club when some things had surfaced. But it's when you have a club with a player specifically like Quinn on our team, you want to get like some validation that we are looking out for all sorts of communities that kind of fall under things that are maybe being attacked by.
Well, and they did that with the kids gender diverse soccer camp that they put on.
Yep.
Shout out Paula Rothrock.
I know,
for being an absolute gem at that camp. From
I know.
The pictures.
He looks so precious.
Yeah, it seems like the club is very willing, able, and open to be a part of that conversation and a part of that kind of message that soccer is for everyone.
Yeah. And it's not, I mean, we see the post, right? Even over just somebody like Megan Rapinoe, as welcoming as the city of Seattle is, that's not the case everywhere. And I think it's important to fight and make sure that we're like reaffirming our stances on supporting all these communities.
Yeah, and I think it hits even a little bit harder because of the Sounders sponsor of
Mm-hmm.
Providence
Mm-hmm.
and, their Catholic stance
Mm-hmm.
on abortion and gender affirming care. There's a different conversation about the dichotomy with that. But at the same time, I'm glad that our women's team is furthering that message and really promoting it.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that, that should be part of Pinoe's legacy, and that should be part of the organization moving forward.
Yeah, it couldn't have. I think this partnership with the Looking Out Foundation couldn't have happened at a better time.
You think that was an accident?
No, obviously not.
No,
because we had seen Brandi Carlile at a game a few months ago. It was a game which was not a good game because I remember we joked about like Brandi Carlile's never coming back to another game again. But we got a really good show for her this time, so I'm like pumped about that. And I'm hoping to see her at more games. Maybe one day she'll sing at one of them. But it was a really cool event. I don't know, just seeing the energy just felt so good everywhere around the stadium. And especially at that event, I don't know, there's something about rain games that just like feel, I don't know, special.
You knew that like people were excited to be there, which has been hard this season.
Yeah, definitely.
It's also hard to hold a retirement event for somebody when your team is in like last place.
Yeah.
So I think the whole night, the whole event, I don't think it could have gone any better for the club.
Yeah.
Hats off to everybody involved. What a night. We were super lucky to be there.
Little side note I wanted to throw out there. Evangeline, Catherine and Brandy's daughter, like their oldest daughter, she like wore like you saw her suit that she had. She like had a suit on. I think she had a Rangers under it, right?
Mm-hmm.
She looked so precious. But I saw some pictures after the game that one of our photographers from Sounder at Heart took, and Fishlock like gave her jersey to Evangeline. And like Evangeline, there, if you go find the clip of the goal that Adames scored, right, in the background on the south end, if like Brandi and her family are all there, and Evangeline is like, that's what you like. I'm so stoked to see a celebrity's kid just get so excited for our team.
Like, you love a Nepo baby.
What? Yeah, I love a Nepo baby. I also like want to make sure that our team like gives that joy to somebody like that, because like this, like you said, we have not had a good season. We have not been playing well. So like it would have sucked if it just ended 0-0 and we didn't give them something to be like super excited about. And I think that's just gonna like pump the energy into like that family being excited, and hopefully kind of keep them, in touch, and maybe come to more games and everything and all that.
Yeah, I think you can like talk about that message like throughout though. Like a lot of people came to this game even though they may have been paying attention to the season, but like, all right, this is one we'll go to. Like, they're not very good, but like this is one we'll go to. And then you go to this game and it's enthralling in the second half and a show. I mean, you couldn't, like I said, the club couldn't ask for a better night.
Yeah, the person who's next to me, I was just like, she told me it was only her fourth, like, I believe it was her fourth soccer game she had ever been to.
She's like, I'm always coming back.
Yeah. So I was like giving her all these, once she told me that and she didn't know that much about the team, I was kind of like giving her the insider or just like my deep obsession with the team's like stats and info. And she was just like, this is so cool that you're telling me all this. I can't believe you know so much. And I'm just like, I run a podcast and this is like kind of all I focus on. But yeah, she went to that, and there's no doubt she walked away from that as we'll be back. Like, she's gonna be back.
Yeah, these are important moments for the club, and I hope we look back on this and see it as a turning point within this season and the next season.
Quick break.
Let's do it.
We'll be right back.
Thank you for listening to the Sounder at Heart podcast network, which now includes No Sarietes, Lobbing Scorchers, and the Cooler Guild. We've been independent since August of 2023, but need your support to make sure it continues. Although this podcast is free, it's only made possible by your continued support. Memberships start as low as $25 a year, which not only helps make podcasts like this one happen, but also gets you access to everything we produce. If you're able to support us at higher levels, starting at $75 a year, you gain access to a host of other perks, most notably entry into our members-only Discord, where the smartest, funniest, and most engaged commenters share their thoughts and ideas. To find out more, just visit sounderatheart.com and click the subscribe button in the top right corner. Thanks for listening.
All right, I think we got to talk about how we got Jalen Howell.
The controversial you're about to hear from us, I think.
Yeah, so, I mean, if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that we knew there needed to be changes on the front line. Forwards.
Big changes in the sense that probably someone needed to get traded.
And we talked about it possibly being Bethany Balcer. And I was surprised at the trade. Sounds like the players may have been too,
Yeah.
which is not great, but the CBA has changed since coming into next season. But it sounded to me that Bethany Balcer had been in talks with the club to find a different place to play over the in the off season last season.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't super out of nowhere. But at the same time, you trade Bethany Balcer, who's a sometimes starter from the Reign.
I know her goal scoring's not good, but she was our leading goal scorer for the season.
Yeah, we're not good. But you trade her for the captain of Louisville.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, Balcer's gone. I mean, she wasn't doing a whole lot. She missed a bunch of big chances. But then we get a player and money.
$50K, which is kind of a lot in the NWSL.
Yeah, we get Jalen Howell and $50,000. What drugs was Louisville smoking?
I feel like we fleeced somebody. I 100% feel like we got away with something.
But like listening to the press conference, so I went to the press conference on Zoom, where Balcer was talking for the first time, with
Yanez.
Bev Yanez, yeah. And I heard you could hear the reporters talking in the background, and they're like amping up her stats, amping up Balcer's stats and all this stuff. And I'm just like, have you not watched the season? And maybe she can get back into form at Louisville. Maybe.
I mean, that's how you get a player like that, though, right? You don't get them at their peak. We're not giving up a player like that at their peak. So I think the hope is they get back to like those good stats that you've had.
Yeah, it's really similar in the Cook situation with this, where the player has been with the club for a long time. The club values them. The club values them in the fandom.
Mm-hmm.
And Balcer even more so because, you know, she's been really public about her mental health struggles, which has been something that not a lot of people in professional sports are open about.
Yeah.
So that's really, really impactful and great. But at the same time, if you're us and you want to win games, that's not really a player that is helping you currently win games.
Yeah.
Letting her go and maybe helping her further her progression as a player is the best thing to do.
Yeah.
And Jalen Howell, I mean...
Our midfield's been shit. So like, you know, when an offer like that pops up, I don't know what the situation was and how her name got brought up or whatever, but man, I feel like we really like got away with something.
I feel like it's somebody like really wanting like Boardwalk, and I want the Fourth Railroad, and I'm absolutely gonna fleece them in Monopoly.
I mean, that's not to say that like Balcer's worth some money, 100%. Like you can't get rid of her for nothing, obviously.
Yeah.
But I just think the player that we got in the trade was like way better than I thought it would be.
Well, and Balcer did get an assist in their game on Saturday.
Yeah, yeah.
So she's putting in work for them. So
this could likely be a win-win. This could likely be a win-win for both teams.
And that's kind of what you want as like a women's sports fan, as long as it's not against your team.
Yeah.
Because you care about the athletes. It's not just a business transaction for women's sports fans, right?
Yeah.
You're losing somebody that you paid a lot of attention to for years, and somebody that came, you know, literally from the ground up, like the first NAIA signing in NWSL history, who came on to become Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
That's incredible. It's an incredible feat. She's a good player, but she just wasn't performing in our environment.
No.
And so hopefully she can perform for them.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're going to give us your captain?
Yeah. We got to look out for us.
And what a signing.
Yeah.
She seems to be like just on some tear.
She seems like, I don't know. I feel like, I don't know if there were conversations to her. I mean, when she's the captain of your team, I don't feel like there was conversations in the offseason about you potentially leaving, right? With Balcer, those conversations had been there, so I don't know that she was totally shocked. Timing sucks for anybody, I would say, mid-season for a trade. So as much as maybe she had hoped this would happen in the offseason, it came early, whatever. But it doesn't seem like Howell had any clue that this was really going to happen. I mean, she met with the team and then eventually was like obviously aware this was going to happen, but she seems like she is like ready to just like make Louisville regret doing this.
She seems on destroy mode.
Yeah, and I need it.
This is like the energy. Her, Montezier, absolute like energy hounds, like into it. I think I sent you a text when we first signed Montezier, and I like went through her Instagram, and I was like, oh, there's a vibe here.
Yeah.
There's a vibe here. I think I can feel it.
And AMC.
Mm-hmm. And I'm just like...
And then I saw it straight out on the field right away with Howell.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this energy has been lacking. It's
hard to have that energy when you're real bad, though. Honestly.
It is, but I do think that sometimes we were kind of given this false sense of like how maybe how good or bad the team was because we got to the final last year. Because to me,
Yeah.
that felt like a result of us having Rose Lavelle and Emily Sonnet and Megan Rapinoe still playing well. It didn't feel like, at times at least, that if we didn't have those players, it seemed a little difficult and uninspired. And so
Yeah.
I feel like these players are bringing that part back.
Well, they don't have the weight of that history.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
And that is so encouraging as a fan
Yeah.
to see them just absolutely balling out. Just like, hey, we're here now.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed.
It is what we needed.
So I'm glad we didn't make just one signing.
We needed more than one. You know, when we just got the one confirmed signing of Montezir, I was like, this is good, but we need more. And I also, when we signed Haidama, I was like, I don't know how this is going to work with Balser, because to me, it didn't really make a whole lot of sense as far as like what they both bring and what they're going to bring out of each other. It just seemed like a little too, I don't know if they were similar.
It was a 1-to-1. It was if you subbed one for the other one, it was a like for like sub.
Yeah.
I just think that for me, somebody said it might have been the Slack or the Discord. I can't remember. Maybe it was Twitter, but somebody said, "Oh, I wish we would have traded Haidama."
That would be a mistake to me.
I also want what you're smoking because, like, what?
I know that Haidama's numbers aren't good for like what maybe we were sold on when we got her, but
I don't know what you were getting sold on. I mean, she hadn't done much. She'd played for some good clubs.
No, it was an investment.
It's an investment. It's somebody that really wants you to be here. So you were saying that we might have been oversold on her?
Yeah.
Or that was a thought that came through, but she's young.
I mean, I guess I was saying she was an investment, right? So
yeah, I mean, she's like what, 24 now?
I think she's still 23, or she's 24 now. I don't know. Maybe her birthday just happened. Let me look. She's 23.
Okay.
I mean, they don't have her birthday. Oh no, it's May 8th. Yeah, she just turned 23 in May.
Okay. So I think that she's a younger player. She's getting a lot of international time.
She's getting goals. She's getting goals on the international level too.
Yeah. So there's something to be said for that. And I really don't think in future investment terms that's a like for like.
Yeah.
Because Balser's going to be a staple in the league. She's going to be a great player in the league, but that might be all you get out of her.
Which is what some teams need. Right, because like no one's in as dire.
Well, and that's why I think Louisville's like really excited to have her.
Yeah,
because they didn't have a player like that.
No, they're not in as dire of a situation as we are.
No,
they could afford to give up their captain apparently.
But yeah, I really don't think that like as far as like the Rain situation, the trade situation goes, like you even have that conversation
about Haidama.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I went and looked it up. Just to see kind of what I would say if you're looking, if we have Balser and Haidama on the same team, those should be your top two goal scorers, right? So I went and looked at how many goals the top two goal scorers have for the top three teams, just to see like how bad we are. Orlando, you know, first in the league right now, between their two top goal scorers, they've got 17. Washington Spirit, 15. And then we know Chewinga is over in KC since she's just tearing it up, but they've got 18 goals. And then our two combined players are Bethany Balser and Haidama with a total of 8. And 5 of those are Bethany Balser, 2 of those goals, penalties. So that'd be 6 goals, which I didn't, factor in the penalties for other teams or whatever. But I mean, for players that should be your obvious goal scorers, that is not good enough. And in my opinion, it seemed like one of them, they have value, right? They have value. So one of them needed to be traded to improve this team in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can say, in my opinion, it's not good enough. But no, I think in everyone that watches soccer's opinion, that's not good enough.
I just know how people have been feeling about the Bethany Balser trade. And I also have been seeing how Bethany Balser has been feeling about the trade. But in my opinion, so this is why I'm saying in my opinion, I think this was the right move. And I have thought this for a while. I think both of us have thought this for a while. We're 2 for 2. I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing, but we're 2 for 2. Whenever I have brought up, I think we need to have a conversation, and then we bring up a player, they get traded not long after. So we're 2 for 2.
Well, I mean, these are conversations that we're already having.
We are, but I think it's one of those situations where like we love these players and we wish they were doing better, but we suck. And these are maybe players we need to move on from.
Yeah, and players that we want to do well.
Yeah, because
we wish the best for them because they're good. They seem to be good people. We don't know them personally, but they seem to be good people. And like
they've played well for us. So like the idea is like other teams know that. And so then they'll pay us for them to get back to that level with their team. Because it could just be an environment switch, right? That's hopefully, I think, what most people wish.
Yeah, as long as they don't play well against us, I'm good.
Because no team wants our bad players. That's just, like you're going to have to
No,
lose.
that's just sports.
Yeah, but like you're going to have to lose players that like you've grown to love and have like watched them play well. Like that's just the reality of sports. And so to me, it was like Hook seemed like the first obvious one needed to go. And then Balser, it was like I said, it was between Heidema and Balser for me. And it just seemed like it didn't make sense to get rid of Heidema.
I never thought Heidema was on the chop train.
No. But Balser's just, I don't know. Balser's got value. I think that tells you about what we think about her too, is just like.
Yeah, I mean, she's got experience in the league. Like, I get
She got
it.
an assist.
Yeah, she got an assist in the game.
I'm not looking forward to playing her soon.
The next game.
Yeah, like I think she's a very like a player that will want to come out and just like kind of like make us look stupid. Like she has an ability in her.
I welcome that, but I also, if I were her, I would be fucking terrified of Jalen Howell.
Yeah. I think Jalen Howell's got a little bit more fire in her from this trade.
Hell yeah. I'm here for it.
Yeah. I think now too, because of this trade, it gives Heidema maybe an opportunity to step up. She's gonna have more responsibility 100%. And I feel like maybe we haven't seen the development shift that we have hoped to see, but I think it's because we haven't really given her this responsibility when we've had Bethany Balser.
Well, I think too, like the way that the attack has been playing hasn't really fed into her
abilities,
strengths.
Yeah, totally.
So if they've got speed with Mondesir, they've got strength with Howell and AMC. I think that gives Heidema a little bit more freedom to figure out her niche within the attack.
I'm excited about it. Like I said, if it doesn't happen this year, I do think we're gonna have a pretty good team next year. I do think we'll have a good push at the end here. It's just a matter of is it too little too late?
I mean, probably, but
yeah,
I still haven't
real.
I still haven't bought my friend Ron a beer that I bet him that we were going to make the playoffs at the beginning of the season, but we'll see. Do you have any closing thoughts from the game?
Closing thoughts. It is going to be awful to lose Adames for the World Cup
and Bug
and Bug. I think that's maybe the one that I was like didn't really prepare myself for, because we don't ever get to see much of Adames, annoyingly. But I didn't expect Bug to just come on and look so freaking good.
Yeah, it's hard to lose a new kind of staple player, especially in your back line.
Yeah.
It'll be exciting to watch them. I knew that I was forcing myself, into the optimism train. I was happy.
Here we are.
I was happy I did it. But seeing everything past the 75th minute of the last game really makes me hopeful for the next one.
Yeah.
So I'm for once excited to watch the team again.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see them against Louisville of all people too next.
Yeah, so that's the next game. They're playing away. So that'll be 4:30 our time, Pacific Standard Time, next Saturday, August 31st. The Bethany Balser next game reunion match.
The Howell Balser vengeance games, right? I mean, that's what it is. It's a vengeance game for both of them.
I'm here for it.
So the last time we played them was June 23rd. We tied 1-1. That was the game where we were up a player.
Yeah.
We were up a player for 81 plus minutes. And didn't we give up a last minute goal or something? Is that what happened?
Yeah, so Heidema scored the penalty, I believe.
She scored, or no, she earned it.
Didn't she score it too?
I don't think she scored a penalty, because I didn't see her penalty stats on FOTMob.
She has a penalty. Okay, 1 second. Hold on, folks. This is why we don't do live recordings.
She doesn't have any penalties. I think she earned it, and then Bethany took it. 1-1 Racing.
Balser, yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then they gave up the fucking tying goal in the 90 plus 7.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting. I'm here for this vengeance tour. It's about to happen. But other than that, we're going to be able to watch Adames and Bug in the U20 Women's World Cup. That game, what?
I was just going to say, we found out it's on FS2.
Yeah.
Which is shocking, but great.
I don't think it's shocking. I mean, it's shocking that they haven't really advertised it.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Is we had to dig into it a little bit, and then I was like, oh, it's on FS2. Why haven't we really heard about that?
If you don't have the Live Soccer TV app, you should, because it is.
This is a free ad. This is a free ad for them. 100% get it.
It's good. But that game's going to be on September 1st, which is a Monday, right?
I think it's a Sunday. Labor Day weekend Sunday.
We're going to be able to watch Jordan Bug and Emeri Adames with the U20 women's national team on FS2, September 1st, Sunday, September 1st. at 1 p.m.
And it's also versus Spain and their U20 teams, so that should be good. That should be very good.
Yeah. So everybody should tune into that.
Next week's episode, I know there's kind of some movements and stuff going on with the free agency, but everything's gonna play out and the extensions, everything like that. So we'll cover that next week because we've already done enough for today. Special shout outs for the week. I said it once, but Steph hooked me up with those tickets for the event that Catherine Carlisle was running. But not only that, Steph gave me a bunch of tickets to give out at the Sounder at Heart anniversary event. So I was able to give away, what was it? Was it
47?
47 tickets to people. And that's like really freaking cool for Sunday's game.
Yeah.
So thank you to for Steph for that. That was great.
Let's shout out Dave.
We have to shout out Dave Clark. Today, when we're recording, is the actual anniversary of Sounder at Heart starting as a blog. So we wouldn't.
2008.
Yeah, I honestly don't think we would be here without Sounder at Heart even starting.
No, I think that Sounder at Heart has created such an environment for coverage of Seattle teams that the idea of having any sort of fan podcast or being involved in any way other than like being a part of the team would really exist for people like us.
Yeah, I would say a big part of my fandom came from the coverage of Sounder at Heart and Ride of the Valkyries.
The game feed conversations, I live for those.
Yeah. I've also like connected with so many people over all this too. So it's just I can't like credit Dave enough for just starting this thing and everybody who's been keeping it going. But Dave definitely deserves his flowers today.
Oh yeah. Congrats, Dave. We appreciate you.
I think that's gonna wrap us up, right, for this episode.
Yeah, we only recorded for like 2 hours. It's always so long.
This one is a big one. Rapinoe deserves it.
Yeah, Pinoe deserves
and
it.
The wind deserves it.
Yeah. I mean, it's been 155 days. Jesus.
It's been 84 years.
It's been 84 years. Didn't you put that as like the end of one of the podcasts?
I think so. If you don't listen to the full end, there's usually a little Easter egg in there. Yeah.
But as always, yeah, you can follow us on Twitter at Cooler Guild.
We gotta start the new bit. You can follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Cooler Guild Pod.
Or email us. Please email us. We love emails. The only emails we get are from Google. So email us at the Cooler.
We got one from Sign Guy.
Oh yeah.
Shout out Sign Guy.
Shout out Sign Guy. You can email us at thecoolerguild@gmail.com or find us at Sounder at Heart at sounderatheart.com/thecoolerguild.
Also, Van needs to upload the photos. We were going to start uploading some photos of some stuff for our Instagram. Our Instagram is also at Cooler Guild Pod.
Yeah, Coop was not happy with the Instagram, so
I have an
stopped
aesthetic.
doing that. Coop has an aesthetic. I'm not designy, so I think we should post the one picture of us that the guy
I
put
think
on
we
the
should.
Discord.
I think we should post any event photos. Anything we go to games together, whatever. I think we should post all that stuff on there.
We didn't take any pictures of the last game.
Yeah, we did. I made you take a photo. Alex took it.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot.
Yeah, I thought you were gonna.
You never
upload
sent it to me.
I thought you took it. It was on your phone. The photo's on your phone, and I was looking for you to upload it because I was like, you should upload this to the Instagram. Then
wait, there are pictures of us.
I wanted you to upload that, and then the photos from the event too. The photo that we have of us from the event, from the Sounder at Heart event.
Which one?
I don't care. Yeah, you should start posting those kinds of photos, and then we'll also put the screenshots from here on there.
All right. Yeah, I can do that.
Anyways, we gotta wrap this up because Alex is making mushrooms, forged mushrooms. Till next time. I'm Coop.
I'm Van.
Stay cool.
Let's get another win. Bye-bye.
Bye. One of these. It's like a fancy thing, so I get the glass out. Oh shit! God damn it! I should open it, right? Should we wait? We should wait. Fuck. Strong start already.